Another Press Pack Sessions interview in conjunction with 24/7 and Fire and Ice Productions. And we've got the legendary Vince Lee. Right, Vince?
Yeah, man, good.
Well, I've done my time, but I can't keep from doing wrong.
So thanks for coming in anyway. You've just done a little track for us. What was that called?
That was called I Can't Keep From Doing Wrong.
And is it one of your own?
Yeah, it's a song I wrote a few years ago for a first Wildcards album, which is called On Fire.
Recently, of recent years, you've spent quite a lot of time getting more into the production side of the sort of blues genre.
Yeah. Well, spending a lot of time with Doc at the PMC studios, and getting to know other musicians around the town. It's just like a case of putting one with the other, really, and just helping out if I can, to try and make a better product, at the end of it.
You've got quite an arsenal of guitars.
Yeah, quite
at
a
your
few.
disposal.
Yeah.
Like the
As many as you, mate.
Yeah, and what guitar is this here then?
Oh, that's an old Silvertone. It's called an Esplanada. It's from 1955.
Wow.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, it's got a lot of chrome on it.
Yeah, man. It's a Cadillac.
Looks like my old Vespa.
They come and go, but they just won't hang around.
You've just done a little tour around Europe. How long did you go for? How many countries did you visit?
We went for 3 weeks, and we went from Belgium to Holland and then to Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. We ended up in. It's like 14 shows, I think, and three days off for traveling. It took us 4 days to get home. We just literally drove from Plymouth to Finland.
Just to give people some sort of idea of like where you're coming from. Obviously, they'll get to see snippets of the track that you played for us, so they'll probably have some sort of idea. But what do you think is your sort of signature style? What do you think distinguishes you from, albeit music or the way you look or the way you dress or the guitars you use?
Well, I guess it's all those things are just like part of an act, I guess. But really, the main thing is the music, and that's what it's all about, I guess, at the end of it.
I got no intention to change my evil mind, and a mean bastard you'd be hard pushed to find.
Our style of music goes a lot further than just playing straightforward rhythm and blues or old school Delta blues or whatever like that. So, we play like Cuban music or surf music. We like Bo Diddley and all that kind of thing. It's sort of early rock and roll influences, and we try and mix it all up. And we like the sort of the early kind of swing stuff, like with Duke Ellington, people like that. But we like to try and re-emulate some of those songs with electric guitars rather than horns and, the big band kind of thing. So we kind of like follow horn patterns from old arrangements, and try and work tunes out. We did one of those on our new album, an old Duke Ellington tune, that we just stole all the original arrangement, but just did it all on electric guitars rather than on the original instruments, so it kind of still sounds like a 20s song, but
been brought up to date.
Yeah, it's kind of all electric guitars, and it's kind of rock and roll thing about it.
Yeah.
I play a bit of kazoo on it.
Excellent. And what's this? I hear this rumour of you playing jugs. What's that all about?
Yeah, jugs.
Slightly confused by that, obviously.
Well, poor musicians, mate, in the old days, all they had was like a washboard and a jug to play a bit of bass on, and a mandolin maybe, or an acoustic guitar. But that didn't stop them, man. They still put a band together,
So,
and it'd be rocking.
I'm intrigued to know exactly how you get a bass note out of a jug.
Well, you got to kind of you got to like flap your lips into it. Really, it's kind of like imagine playing like a big old sousaphone or something like that. You got to, and there's an element of like I guess it's like a bit like blowing over the top of a milk bottle in a way. It's not really, I guess, but you get that kind of that amplification from it. So you get the bass sort of woo kind of thing going on, at the bottom of it, and it's kind of it sounds really sexual and kind of rude. It's great.
Right, so let's get on to talking about the album. Have we got? Where is the album?
Tis here, boy.
Because I've obviously been following.
That's the one there on the t-shirt, mate.
He's got the t-shirt,
and it's got the full moon on it. It's all about the full moon, and people go a bit crazy when there's a full moon, as we all know.
Something to do with the water, right?
Yeah, man.
Certainly looks like your best product.
Yeah, man. Well, I did. We worked on it from last September until February, I think it was. We finished it right at the beginning of February, and we wrote a few tunes for it, and we spent as much time in the studio as we could to try and get to hack away at it, because we knew we had this tour coming, and we were trying to work it all out. You know how it is with all that kind of deadlines and stuff, and we did all right, I reckon. We pulled it together because we took a little bit of time out after our last album and the tours we did on the back of that, because we were just feeling like we needed a change to go on, so we took a bit of time out of playing live so we could reevaluate it. And
sometimes you've got to you have to have had experience, you have to move away to experience stuff in order to freshen things up,
Yeah, man. Yeah, and we sort of reached the end of that. We'd explored that particular avenue as much as we possibly could, really. So we were looking for something a bit different. And so this album hopefully should make people think, wow, that's a bit different.
So what do you think distinguishes this album from your... This is the third Wildcards album.
Yeah, it's the third Wildcards album.
So in what way is this album different to your other two, and why should people who have bought your first two albums reach for that and find something new?
Well, the first one we did was called On Fire, and I guess mainly it was like a rock and roll album. And we were a new band, and we were just finding our feet. And a lot of people really like that album. I really like it, There's a lot of up-tempo stuff on it. And then we kind of, with the second album, Raising Hell, we kind of went the other way with it a little bit. There's still a lot of up-tempo stuff involved, but we tried to explore a bit more of a blues thing and a bit of a darker quality to it, And then, after that album, we thought, well, where do we go with this now, But we've always had this sort of aspect of sort of rockabilly and the early punk thing going on in our music, even though we've moved on from that in our years, sort of thing.
The angst is still there.
It's still there, mate. Yeah, it's still there.
Who's playing on the album then? Have you got any? I mean, obviously the Wildcards are on it, but have you got any extra people that you've brought in to?
We got Becca Langsford to come in and sing a tune for us, and she did some backing vocals on some other tracks as well. But she does actually sing lead vocal on one track, because it's a tune that I could sing quite happily myself, but it's more of a woman's number anyway. That we kind of stole it from an old blues singer called Ruth Brown, and I think Becca could handle a bit of Ruth Brown, so it was something we played live quite a lot. So it was easy. She just walked into the studio and did it, man. It was
nailed it.
We had 3 takes, and normally you're like, right, well, that one was good and those 2 weren't so good. We just had 3 damn good takes, so it was done. She was in and out, really, and
she's got a phenomenal voice.
Yeah, man. It's very musical, and not just as a front singer, but as a backing vocalist. It's just got a certain vibe about it, and it really lends itself to so many different styles of music. It's just amazing, very versatile.
Yeah. Anyone else?
That's it, man.
Yeah?
That's it. The rest of anything else you hear is the 4 of us.
This is pretty true to how the live setup was going to a point.
Yeah, but we still messed around with a few ideas, because there are a lot of ideas floating around when you're in the studio, and sometimes it's nice to do a special version of something just because you can,
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to, don't you?
You just have to, because it's just crying out for it.
Yeah.
And so when you hear the album, you'll hear the way we would like it to sound if we could afford it.
If you could afford a big enough band,
yeah.
So where would someone who's watching this and thinking, yep, that's it, I'm convinced, I'm sold, I want to buy it. Where do they go buy it?
You can get it at the moment. The best way, I guess, on a wider basis is to go to rootscd.com, which is kind of like a roots blues and rockabilly and whatever kind of a specialist CD store online. So that's rootscd.com.
And search for the Wildcards.
Yeah, and it should be pretty easy to find it on there. Yeah. But if you live locally in Plymouth, then you can catch it at Jill Cole's shop.
Yeah, down at Frankfurt Gate.
Yeah, the Black Dog.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a few copies of it sitting around, and maybe a few of the T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And
have you got any plans to get it on download for people that
yeah, I
strictly-
think it's already available on CD Baby and a few other places. I've seen it go up.
Well, if it's on CD Baby, I think it will end up on iTunes.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Wicked. Well, thank you very much for coming in and taking the time out.
It's a pleasure, man. Yeah.
Respect to you, sir.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, you too.